Hey guys, my name is Jay. Welcome to my channel. This is where I like to share my art projects with you, and today I'll be working on the ROBOCOP Custom Collectible Part 2. If you haven't seen Part 1, I'll put a link down below for you to check that out. Basically, I'll be doing the face, the skin, or the blemishes and textures, things like that. This will be a learning curve for probably both of us because I haven't worked on skin at this scale before. And yeah, this should finish off the whole piece. So I'd love for you to stick around and we'll jump straight into it. Okay, I'm going to hit the ground running with this. We're going to use a darker shade for the skin. I've thought about the process a lot, about how I'm going to build this up to make it look like human flesh, you know, and definitely the darker start, I think. Then after I apply that over the entire thing with the airbrush, I'm going to start adding a little bit of details, bit of skin texture with the lighter colours. Put a little bit of red for the lips, a little bit around the eyelids there, and yeah, we'll get a couple of nice cool veins and things like that. And I think as I build it up and make it lighter and add each layer, hopefully it will look like these details are sort of throughout the different layers of the skin. So, you know, like it would be for your skin, and the best way is to just look at your own hands and look at your own arms, and you can sort of see the blues and the pinks and all the freckles and things like that, and you soon start to realize that a lot of different colors and variations is what makes the skin look like skin. So to try and replicate that in any kind of painting is a little bit tricky, and without them though it just looks bland. You need it to have all those things. So I'm going to try and attempt to do all that on this model, and hopefully, yeah, it looks half decent. So I think I'll speed this up and we'll jump to the next part. Okay, so what I want to do here is add a little bit of that red to the cheeks and sort of any areas where the skin's a little bit thinner, and I do this by doing lots of random little squiggly lines, as you can see. So we'll have some Vegemite rosy cheeks to begin with, but we'll be building up some layers on this to blend it in a little bit more, and it should give the appearance of those red blood vessels and things like that underneath the skin. So I'm not afraid to go a little bit crazy with it, because I can change how much is visible by adding more flesh tones to it. Now if you're doing skin yourself, don't be shy to add some blue. Now I'm using my Drachenhof Nightshade, similar to the blue that I added to the metallic at the back of his skull on those robotics. It's kind of nice to add some of the similar colours to tie in the two separate halves of the piece, but in this case we're going to use it to put in a few of those blue veins that you typically find in your flesh. Again, you can layer it up so it's not so prominent if you're worried it is too blue or looks a bit odd, but just the little subtleties and sort of the recesses as well, adding a little bit of darkness to around the eyes, things like that, adds a really nice little touch and a little bit of extra dimension to the skin tone. And I said Drachenhof Nightshade correctly this time, I think. Look at that beautiful face. So the idea now would be to go back to the original skin color and layer that very lightly over some of the areas where I want to soften the reds and the blues. So in the places where you don't want them to look too crazy, or you want to just sort of fade them out a little bit, I just lightly dust over the places where the skin's probably got a bit more thickness to it, and just adds depth. Time to add some highlights. So I've gone and used like a lighter desert tan, and the idea here is just to use it very, very lightly and in moderation. It's very easy to make something like this look too pale if you use too much at once. And yes, my airbrush did clog up and I made a bit of a mess on the chin there. Not to worry, because we will cover it back up once we add some more layers. So just very, very subtly add it to the cheekbones, anywhere where the skin is usually, I guess, a little bit tighter. Like if you notice when you stretch your hands out, you see all those lighter spots appear on your skin, all those patches. It's sort of what you want to recreate, but you don't want to go too much on the face, because otherwise it'll look like he's had some pretty full-on Botox, I guess. So you want to avoid that. Botox, ROBOCOP bad. I'm going to add some Citadel Art Coat, which is essentially like a gloss finish. Makes it look really shiny or wet. Just a little bit to the lips and just to the eyelids, just on the inner parts of the eyelids. Just to kind of add that little bit of realism, and you'd be surprised how much just a little bit of either matte finish or gloss in contrast with each other can really take it to the next level. So I'm happy with how this is turning out. I think it's looking quite good, quite believable. Not really a lot more I want to do to it, so I'm going to move on to doing the clear coat. I know this is going to add a little bit of a sheen to the skin, but I'm going to do some dry brushing over the top of that to try and dull that back down again. And yeah, let's take some of this masking off. So we're going to use some of the lighter colour again to dry brush. And I think I've said before in a previous video, dry brushing is when you've got a very minimal amount of paint on your brush, and the idea is just to rub it over the top of the little protruding surface areas where it'll pick up that paint and hopefully leave the recesses dark. This is hopefully going to take out some of that sheen so it doesn't look so sweaty, even though it is quite hot here at the time of filming this, so it probably makes sense. Alright, this is it guys. The part that gives any character its personality, the eyes. So, I've got my eyeball ready. A bit of a play around, a bit of a glimpse on what this might look like. And already, bam, there it is. I know some of you are creeped out by this, but I can't help myself. This looks so cool. So YouTubers, I would like for you to meet Alex Murphy, aka ROBOCOP. So I find that the eyes play such an important role in any creature or character creation. Characters like E.T. or the original Ninja Turtles live action, the eyes were such an important part in those characters, bringing them to life. And even monsters like the Predator, you can tell there's that intelligence behind those eyes. Now I've just glued these in, and I'm going to add one more product to them just to finish those eyes off. It's Royal Coat Dimensional Magic, and basically it sort of sets like pools of water or can make things look glassy or wet. I'm going to coat these just to finish them off. So moment of silence for my heat gun as it died on me, but nevertheless I'm going to use its parts for this next bit. We want to create some metal piping on the back of the head. So what I've done is I've used some fencing wire to insert back into the electrical cable after removing those copper cores, and now I can shape and manipulate the position of those pipes, and then we're going to paint them silver and insert them into the appropriate places. So I did originally want to work with aluminium rod, but it's just too difficult to use in such tiny little angles. I'm going to just keep the one piece for the back of the skull. The rest will just be with this electrical cord. So as you can see, I've painted it up silver. There's 3 pieces per side of the head, and I've had to drill some holes into the model to make sure that they can fit in properly. And these are very fiddly to attach, so rather than make you suffer through me trying to install these and glue them all, I think we might jump ahead to the final reveal. Cheers for hanging out. Thank you all so much for watching, and there's only one thing left to do. That's scare the kids.